I'm about to be surrounded by gold medalists here. The Brad Jacobs rink. Got Brad, Ryan, EJ, and Ryan Harden bringing their gold medals in here. Very nice. Congratulations. I got to say, first of all, to Ryan Fry, I think I bought your dad's rink at a Calcutta, the Morden Bonspiel, in 1974, I want to say.
Did he win?
No.
No. So are you asking me for the money back?
No. I should just say Ryan's dad, Barry Fry, otherwise known as the Snake, when I was growing up. I grew up in Morden, Manitoba, so I've curled.
Yeah,
I know what it's like to go to rinks. But welcome to our studio. And first of all, congratulations.
Thanks for having us.
To all four of you. Brad Jacobs, I'll start with you. I'll just ask the question a lot of people ask gold medalists. What's the best thing about being a gold medalist?
Having that thing hang around your neck every once in a while. I think, that's what you work your whole life for right there. And it's amazing how much that thing weighs. So I honestly, just having that hardware and everything that goes along with it is amazing.
How I've often wondered one thing about especially a rink, a curling rink that goes on to international fame, wins a lot of international awards. We talk about team sports and what's involved in the team sport. What makes a good rink?
Yeah, I think
at an international level, especially.
Well, I think whether it's international or just in Canada, I think what makes a good rink and one of the keys to our success most recently is the chemistry and the dynamic of this team. There's lots of great curlers out there, but I think the teams that rise to the very top really have a great chemistry. And, when you look at our team, you've got 3 family members, 2 of which are brothers. I'm first cousins, and Ryan Fry's like a brother to us. We've always said that. We're best friends on and off the ice, really. And we can be brutally honest with each other, and we can move on quickly. And we support one another. There's just a lot of positivity on this team, and that's what gets us through the big events and the tough finals.
Now, Ryan, I wanted to ask you, you obviously, all you guys come from a curling family. You come from a curling family as well. When you see where curling has gone internationally, and I always tell people that if you cover an Olympics, and I've covered a couple of Winter Olympics, and you talk to people from countries that don't curl, it's amazing how many people, I keep telling the story about watching the Finns, a bunch of Finns hanging around. They watched the entire men's gold medal game in Vancouver. They were just in the media workroom, just staring at the TV. Does it surprise you how far curling has come internationally now?
It does. Like just going, watching, because I'm a big fan of curling, so I've spent my life watching it, and when you start seeing the amount of support that these countries are getting now and to declare their teams 4 years in advance, and the amount of work they're putting into it, like from the time when we played in the World Championships last year, it was unbelievable the skill level that these teams had, and they've even kicked it up a notch for the Olympics. So they're chasing Canada. It's 100%. They're trying to beat us, and it's just it's good on our organizations and things like On the Podium and things that help keep us funded and help keep us able to do what we do. And we're trying our best to stay on top of the curling world, and so far it's working.
We're joined by Brad Jacobs, Ryan Fry, EJ Harnden, and Ryan Harnden. I want to ask Ryan and EJ. Because I think a lot of times people who watch curling, they look at the skip and they look at the third. But everybody, I got the impression from watching games on TV and hearing the back and forth that if you're open, aren't you, Brad, to having these guys suggest strategy or, not second guessing a shot, but saying maybe you ought to look at something else. But how does a chain of command, if you want to call it that, work?
Well, how
does it work, EJ or Ryan?
We pretty much do what we're told.
Okay, so much. There you go.
And
then
every so often we say, hey, we have an opinion.
Yeah,
we're people too, and we'd like to have a say just this once. So every so often it happens. But in all honesty, we do have a really open communication with our team, which I think is a good thing. Sometimes that can be a hindrance for us, where we might get into too much discussion. But I think that's more often than not a benefit and a positive for our team is the communication that we have, and it's truly a team. It's 4 guys that have an equal say, or equally dedicated, and that's the great thing about having Brad as our skip and as our leader, is that for the most part, he's open to that. And I say the most part because sometimes it isn't needed, but it's great to have someone that's leading you that's open to making sure you're considered in your opinions there, and that it's equal throughout the team.
I want to ask EJ just as well, or EJ or Ryan. Actually, anybody can answer this question. But are there different parts of the game strategically where one of you has more knowledge than the other? And by that I mean, if there's the takeout part of the game, is there one of you who is kind of more in tune with that and maybe carries more weight if you're having a group discussion about a shot compared to a draw or anything like that? Is there anything that specific, or is that sort of breaking it down to like a football team, and defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator?
No, I don't think so. I think that we've all studied the game. We're all pretty big students of the game, so we all have a pretty good working knowledge of what's going on. I think that the one thing that EJ and Ryan bring to the back end is they really look out for what sometimes me and Brad either go a little too offensive or a little too defensive. So they're always there to catch our backs and make sure that we're not making any stupid calls. So we like EJ alluded to, we work together, 4 guys all for one, and between the 4 of us, we're not the smartest guys, but collectively we make a decent curler.
Hey,
so
speak for yourself.
that's all that matters.
Dude, what's it like to be mic'd for so much competition? I mean, it's one of the rare sports where we get to hear Ryan Harnden. I mean, we get to hear you guys talk about what you're going to do. That's got to be intimidating at times, isn't it? Because every now and then you want to drop an F-bomb. I mean, I do on air. I want to drop an F-bomb every now and then.
Yeah, well, when we first started getting TV games, it was a little bit weird because we weren't used to it. But now I think we've had lots of games over the last 2 years on TV, so we're used to it. You don't even notice anymore that the mics are there, but
you don't get the sense almost that everybody's listening in.
It is tough, and sometimes obviously when you're upset and not playing well, you kind of want to drop one. But all the people back home or across Canada and the world are listening, so you got to watch what you say. And I'm sure it's slipped out a couple of times here and there, but I know our team's been pretty good with that. So
I think that's the beauty of the sport, though. You don't get that intimacy level with many other sports, and I think that's the beauty thing about curling and why fans curling fans get so into it and are so passionate about it, because literally they're playing with you, not just visually, but they can hear everything as well. So I think it's a cool thing about our sport, and you just don't get that. It's a uniqueness that I think curling has over and above a lot of other sports. And yes, as athletes, it is challenging at times, but I think it's to the benefit of the viewers. So I think it's a good thing.
It's not even the mics either. Like our venue, when we're playing in arena, the fans are right there. So they're literally 5-6 feet away from us. So even just that point too, it's nice for the fans to be able to interact with us during games too.
And everybody in a curling rink is probably curled. So do you ever take advice from the stands?
Not really, but I think they definitely encourage it when you debate a call, and then you start to get applause when you make what is deemed to be the right shot. That's kind of interesting. That's a cool thing about curling too, right? Because they do get to interact with you. But I think for the most part, we try to stick to what we think is right, whether it is or not. But that's the cool thing, is that the interaction is there.
Joined by Brad Jacobs. Go ahead, Brad. No, go ahead.
I was going to say a good example of the fans kind of calling a shot would be when we played in the Continental Cup in Las Vegas, and Jeff Stoughton was going to play a safe shot for 2, and he had more of a tougher shot for 4. And as he called the shot for 2, the fans started kind of like booing and awing and humming, and then he called the shot for 4 and made it. So
and they went nuts.
They went nuts. Yeah.
Does this put a bigger bullseye on you guys having the gold medal? I mean, you're well-known rink. Obviously, you've had a lot of success, but now that you've got the gold medal, especially going into this competition going back into the Grand Slam, does that put a bigger bullseye on your chest?
Absolutely, I think. Yeah. I mean, it would for us if we were playing, if we weren't the Olympic gold medalist and even still, currently the reigning Brier champion, that we would want to go out and put our best performance together for a team like that. And absolutely, I think all the teams that we play are ultra competitive, curling is ultra competitive here in Canada. We have so many phenomenal teams, which is why we're so strong as a country within the sport of curling. So I think absolutely, and I think that's a good thing for us, though. We've recognized that. We know going into the Slam next week that teams are gonna come out and definitely want to beat us. We would want to do the same thing. So it's actually a positive thing for us because it keeps us sharp. It keeps us wanting to continue to improve and elevate our game, not stay where we are, knowing that teams are definitely going to want to come out and beat us, and rightfully so. They should.
You guys obviously look. I curled when I was in high school, back in the 70s, and curlers back then, I mean, they were in pretty good shape, but we'd have a cigarette, curl while we're smoke while we're curling. I always tell these guys, I've got a picture of my high school rink that I curled on, and our third's got a heater going in the picture, and that's in high school. But you guys are obviously, you're year-round athletes, right? How much does physical conditioning play a role in your ability to do what you do on the ice?
Yeah, we take it very seriously. We feel that we're kind of changing the sport in a way, and it's on us to attract some younger people to the sport. And I think the only way you do that, and the only way you are taken seriously, is if you train and act like professional athletes. And that's as much as curling is still deemed an amateur sport, we consider ourselves professional athletes. So we put the same work into it as any other athlete. One thing, when we were in Sochi, a lot of people were, a lot of the Team Canada members were really making comments on the type of shape we were in, and we take a lot of pride in that because we want to help grow the sport, and if we can do that, great for us. And on a competing side, it helps us because we're stepping on the ice knowing that we put more work into it than the average curling team. So we feel like that gives us an advantage right off the hop.
Do you see that, any of you, when you see younger curlers now, whether it's the junior men's or even junior women's or whatever, are the junior curlers just in better shape now than even when you guys were juniors? Has there been that much of a change in physical fitness?
I think the juniors are getting more into it, probably looking at teams like us going, okay, if we want to compete with those guys or be at that level, we need to take this very seriously. A lot of teams might have 1, 2, 3 guys that are in good shape, but we're all 4 guys that are in great shape. And I think teams are going to try to emulate that, both men and women, young men and women, junior teams. And as Ryan said, that's what the sport needs. And, we're more than happy to bring that to the game and help grow the game in any way we can as far as the physical fitness aspect goes.
And I think the great thing, too, is that we showed that it has an impact. There's an importance there to be physically fit, and for before the last couple of years when we had a little bit of success, but not with the 4 of us, with Ryan being here, we were kind of known to be physically fit and the quote unquote, I laugh at this, is the buff boys of curling. But we've also had a tremendous amount of success with it over the last 2 years. So I think it's kind of nice because we've shown that there is an importance there to have physical fitness within the sport of curling, and it does have an impact.
I want to ask Ryan Harnden and Brad, or actually anybody can answer this, but when does a rink, when do you decide, okay, we're all in, we're going to, we're going to try to win the provincials, we're going to, try to go to the Brier, we're going to aim for international glory. But at some point you've got to make that decision, right? That I'm all in. And how did you guys come about making that decision individually? Because you've got jobs as well as this, right?
Not all of us.
Not all. Okay, I know. You work for the Royal Bank, I believe, right? Yeah. When do you make that decision? You go, okay, that's it. This is what I'm doing.
Well, for us, I think it's pretty easy because we're all really competitive guys. We always grew up wanting to win the Brier and representing Canada at the Worlds and Olympics. So for us, it was pretty easy. The 4 of us, we just clicked, and we decided 2 years ago after one of the Briers that we would form this team, and we all said we're all in. We all want to make the Olympics. We want to get back to the Brier, and we want to win. We set our goals high, as high as you possibly can. So it's simple for us because we're all guys, competitive guys who want to win and want to be at the highest level. So for us, it was just an easy decision for all of us to get together and form this team. And
we've done that too. The sacrifice that we put in over the last X amount of years it's been substantial. Me and Brad and myself are both married, and Ryan has a girlfriend as well, and so we have family that we're away from. and they're very supportive, but they understand at the same time. And we, for the most part, all of us have jobs, so we have the balance between work and curling and family, and then trying to put in the time to prepare as well. So we've all committed to it, and it goes to show what the hard work and dedication will bring it, because that's literally what's gotten us to where we are now.
Listen, it was great of you guys to join us today. I know you've got a hectic day ahead of you. I know you're involved in you're involved in the Royal, is it the charity thing you're involved with? I saw it with some of the figure skaters and that.
That was last Monday.
Last Monday.
Learn to play, for RBC.
And you'll be getting ready for the Grand Slam of Curling, which when is it? It's March 12th to 16th in Fort McMurray.
Yes.
Yes.
Lovely Fort McMurray.
Yeah.
It's been, guys, it's been great meeting you. Congratulations again. Brad Jacobs, Ryan Fry, EJ Harnden, and Ryan Harnden, Canada's gold medal winning men's rink. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks for having us.